Gifty Opoku-Agyeman, The Black Agenda, Bold Solutions for a Broken System. Welcome to the engaging summary of The Black Agenda, Bold Solutions for a Broken System by Gifty Opoku-Agyeman. This book dives deep into the complex relationship between systemic racism and major global issues, such as climate activism and artificial intelligence. Throughout the summary, expect to uncover the importance of adopting an intersectional approach in addressing the challenges faced by marginalized communities, particularly Black individuals. In the interconnectedness of these struggles, learn how breaking down racial barriers can pave the way for more effective, inclusive solutions.
The intersectionality of climate justice and Black Lives Matter. In the wake of the George Floyd murder and the subsequent Black Lives Matter protests of 2020, climate activist Mary Inez Heglar was confused by the notion that fighting for climate justice should take a backseat to Black Lives Matter activism. She argues that the two issues are inextricably linked and that an intersectional approach is crucial to understanding why the Black agenda is essential for climate activism. The enduring myth that Black people don't care about animals and the environment is not true, but many don't relate to white environmentalists who see racism and climate justice as separate issues. Intersectionality looks at how different marginal identities can impact each other and magnify the discrimination experienced. Climate change affects everyone, but it doesn't affect everyone equally. As Inez Heglar puts it, climate change is actually the great multiplier that takes any existing threat and multiplies it. Fighting for climate justice and racial justice is not an either/or proposition, as both issues are intertwined like toxic bedfellows. Environmental vulnerability of Black and Indigenous communities. Meteorologist James Marshall Shepard's concept of environmental vulnerability sheds light on how institutional racism has made Black and other marginalized communities particularly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Redlining, a racist policy, barred Black communities from essential services, including home loans, leaving them deprived of intergenerational wealth that many white populations enjoy. As a result, African Americans overwhelmingly live in areas designated as unsafe and suffer respiratory infections due to pollutants that weaken their respiratory systems. This reality is further compounded by the prison system, where over 80% of inmates are Black, Indigenous, or people of color and are exposed to some of the harshest pollution in the country. Institutionalized racism in policing and the criminal justice system further exacerbate environmental vulnerability for marginalized communities. Intersectional climate activism. The book highlights the importance of addressing racism in the fight for climate justice by using an intersectional lens. It provides examples from movements like the Keystone Pipeline protest and prison abolition activism to demonstrate the effectiveness of this approach. The book argues that restorative justice concepts championed by the prison abolition movement could fundamentally shift how climate change is fought. The book also emphasizes the need for the tech industry to address civil rights challenges affecting Black people. An intersectional approach can help climate activists work towards environmental reparations for majority world countries and hold big polluters accountable. The racial bias in facial recognition technology. Facial recognition software is not as accurate in identifying darker skin tones, which has led to wrongful arrests and trauma for individuals like Robert Williams and Niger Parks. Computer scientists Deborah Raji and Joy Bulamwini conducted an audit of Amazon's facial recognition software and found a 30% less accuracy rate for people with darker skin tones. Amazon dismissed their findings, but it took government regulators and civil rights groups 2 years to pressure Amazon to remove the faulty product from the market. The tech industry is mostly white, yet Black researchers like Raji and Bulamwini are the ones calling out the dangers and shortcomings of AI technology that reproduce institutional racism. They face constant exclusion and belittlement while people like Robert Williams bear the consequences of this technology. Outside audits are necessary to protect marginalized Black communities from the harmful effects of facial recognition technology. The algorithmic assault on Black communities. Artificial intelligence, AI, is not neutral, and the idea that algorithms are unbiased is false. Algorithms perpetuate institutional racism because they are created by predominantly white tech companies with no consultation with black experts. As a result, decisions made by machines programmed with the prejudices of their makers exclude black people from jobs, home loans, and insurance policies. Responsibility is passed off onto the objective algorithm, making it challenging to refute decisions or hold anyone accountable. To protect their digital identities, black communities must take algorithmic assaults as seriously as physical assaults and learn about the language of algorithms. Jordan Harrod argues that researchers in the AI sphere also need to understand the language they use critically. For instance, bias and fairness are commonly overused and ill-defined. Researchers need to be accountable for their definitions and create a shared vocabulary to understand what bias and fairness mean. Black women leading fight against algorithmic violence. Black women are at the forefront of the battle against algorithmic violence. However, tech companies like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are making the fight difficult by ignoring their concerns and silencing their voices. Black computer scientists, researchers, and auditors face multiple attacks, lack of institutional support, and dismissal of their work. Legal mandates for audits and partnerships with civil rights organizations like the ACLU are necessary to hold tech companies accountable. Despite the challenge of technology advancing faster than the legal system, the fight must continue to prevent marginalized communities from paying the ultimate price. Racial injustice in climate change and AI. Climate change activism and the development of AI are racial justice issues. The impact of racism on marginalized communities is seen in the disproportionate effects of COVID on black communities. Black researchers and activists were sounding the alarm about COVID early on, but their voices were not amplified. This highlights the need for intersectional solutions that center the Black agenda to address complex societal challenges. White people benefit from racist systems and lack the skills and lived experience needed to find solutions. It is time for change.
Thanks for taking the time to read through this riveting summary of The Black Agenda, Bold Solutions for a Broken System. We hope that you now have a clearer understanding of the entwined nature of systemic racism, climate activism, and AI technology. This book underscores the need for an intersectional approach in addressing the challenges faced by marginalized communities, particularly Black individuals, and the potential for significant positive change when centering the Black agenda. By acknowledging and deconstructing these complex issues, we can all contribute to building a fairer and more inclusive society.